how is it being a woman in the film industry?
Well, I feel like, as women now, what good are we to the world if we're not helping somebody in the world?
That's a great thought.
Yeah. The range of being a mom, it strands from age 22 to age 5.
I feel jealous of your kids. Welcome to Next Gen Media podcast series. Today I'm honored to welcome Ty Johnston, founder, CEO, Ty Entertainment, with which he produced hours and hours of television and movie content. An acclaimed author who brought us 2 wonderful books, To Pitch or Not to Pitch, Give Me the Green Light, which we call a Bible for anyone in the film and television industry to learn how to pitch, package, and sell their script or project. If you're looking to turn your script into a film deal, then this is the book for you. She's an educator for the next generation filmmakers who worked as a professor with American Intercontinental University and the Art Institutes, teaching courses on digital film, video, audio production. She is a member of Producers Guild of America, a graduate of UCLA professional producing program, and soon receiving her MFA in digital filmmaking from Anaheim University. If you are a person who got benefited by pitching your script in the most famous Atlanta Pitch Summit, then here is the founder of the annual conference, which had the most renowned TV and film companies such as Lifetime, BET, MGM, TV One, Fox, Harper Films, and Nickelodeon. Okay, without much delay, let's jump into our podcast with the superhuman Ty Johnston. How are you today?
Oh, you made me feel so good. You said superhuman. I wish I was.
You are.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you here, Ty. We have so many questions coming into our mind, and thank you so much for your valuable time spent with us. So going to our first question, I have made this interview into a 3-session kind of interview. So since you're a film personality, we can call Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3.
I love that.
Act 1 is kind of the opening session, and Act 2 will be, we can call as behind the scenes, and Act 3 is going to be the climax, which is going to be a surprise for you and me as well and everyone here.
Yeah.
And moving to Act 1, my question is this. Can you share what inspired to start your entertainment journey?
Well, that's a really good question because for me, it feels like it's so many years apart. I'm going to take it off and I'm going to hold it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so many years away from me because I may seem like I'm youthful, but I'm trying to keep up with the youth. But my bones are starting to ache a little bit on a good note. But what started my journey was when I was 9 years old, just watching Little House on the Prairie. And that was an old, time series that was created, and it had stars like, should I say, Michael, what was that? Michael Landon that was in there. And, who I remember as Laura Ingalls. And so that was the character name, but, mimicking their lifestyle and doing that in the basement of my parents' home and being able to, recite the words and the props and making sure that I had the props to recreate those scenes. And I was loving what I was getting into, those characters. And then it shifted at the end of the night with something very memorable to me, which was like Solid Gold, which was, an old television entertainment show in the evening. And they had a character like Maud that was on. And I don't know if this is so, out of touch for some of the viewers, but please look it up. But that was our entertainment days. And, putting a towel over your head and putting a rubber band on it turned it into a wig, and
Wow.
dressing yourself up into a real true character that you loved or that you wanted to mimic again. So for me, it started very early. And then I started doing Toys R Us commercials at a very young age at 9, and Lego toys and modeling for Wilson models. And I enjoyed every bit of it. So for me, my entertainment journey started very young and not knowing what that was, right? Because the time that I grew up was when if you shared that you liked anything in entertainment, you were told that you couldn't make any money, right? It's still a very hard struggle now, but it's different, but it's more accepted. And then you have such a wide range of individuals creating content. So for me, it was very, very different, that you were told that you couldn't do it, that you were told that, oh, this isn't really a career, and, those sort of things. But I had a very great supportive system. My parents, they just strived to make sure that they were meeting my desires, to keep me going. And that would keep you going in other areas that maybe you weren't so fond of. It could have been education, or it could have been, sports, but your drive was there, but your passion wasn't there for that particular activity. So for me, the activity was always a plethora of a scope of entertainment, and wanting to vest my time and my interest and pull others in as well.
That was great. Actually, when you talk about your family, you said they are really encouraging about your passion and career, right? Most people don't get that. How do you feel about that?
I feel that it's something that we have to do. It's like, sometimes, and this is what I say now, is like, I'm a mother of 4, and it's, my range of being a mom, it strands from age 22 to age 5 right now. So I have those other 2 that are in the middle, and every single kid is, a different kid, and you want to help them achieve what they're able to, bring out in themselves. And sometimes as parents, we can become, wanting to be wishful of what we wanted to do and stem it on our kids, but it's not so much like that. And so for me, having the supportive system that I had with just my 2 parents, and giving that to my kids, no matter what is it that they're encouraging themselves to do, I want them to be able to try it. Try it. Let's try it enough to see if you want to try it again and again and again. Because the way that things are set up right now, and let's say lifestyle wise, is that we don't try things enough to know that we really want to do it. We try it for a few minutes and say, oh, it didn't work for me. Let me go on. Like, we're such in a rush microwavable mode that we don't really figure out if this is something that we love. Like for me, I'm a producer, and I can produce with my eyes closed. I know that for a fact, but I didn't know that I really loved directing until I directed, until I formally shared that with the world. Right now, I was already directing, but I never formally shared that with a piece of content that I said, this is what I directed, and this is a directorial. So for me, it's one of those things that you continue to support your family in every which way that you can, help them find themselves within their exploring. And then if they like it, they like it. If they love it, they love it. But what you're doing is you're supporting them to strive further.
Great. I feel jealous of your kids.
But,
they got a supportive mother.
It's so funny because my husband will say, "You're my mom too." Like I love that when he says that.
Great. Okay. As you said, your industry, I mean, the whole entertainment industry it's a lot of pain and high stakes, right? You could have actually stopped where your journey of a producer, we can actually stop there, and because that is making you money and having a good family is good that way, but you still want to push forward, and you made your movie as a director, and okay, if that's something a human can do, I can accept. Then you went beyond that, and you started this summit, right?
Yes.
This pitch summit. It was a great thing that you are supporting the young upcoming filmmakers. Where do you get this kind of uh, uh, like what made you do this? Like, how do you choose to help others?
Well, I love the fact that you asked that. How do I choose to help others? I see it as this is, what good are we to the world if we're not helping somebody in the world?
That's a
Okay.
great thought.
Yeah. So that's just who I am naturally. I don't feel complete by just receiving. I feel complete when I'm giving. I feel complete when I have committed. I feel complete when I have compassion. I feel complete when I'm creating. I feel complete when I'm confident. And that's when I feel complete. And being able to share that with whomever is listening is for them to know that and to learn that and for it to resonate. And so for me, with the Atlanta Pitch Summit, I was going out and I was sharing pitches for a lot of different people who were just contracting me for that one thing that they needed. And it was several people who are very well known, a lot of the who's who's. And I was flying to LA. I was flying to New York and just doing pitches. And I said, man, we need something bigger. We need something that's a little bit more massive. We need it to be on a scale of a marketplace, and it needs to be amongst a broad range of persons. It can't just be one or two or three. So creating the Atlanta Pitch Summit was coming back here to Atlanta from, all the different places that I had been pitching and sitting in meetings and sitting in boardrooms amongst a lot of the players and the buyers and saying, this is going to be massive and we're going to do this here in the Southeast region. And that's what happened. So creating the summit took place here, existing in 2011. And there was a lot of people that are some of my peers to this day, younger and older, and they would say, oh, you crazy. What are you doing? You don't know what you're doing. And I said, I don't care. I'm going to figure it out. And, I wanted to be a little bit more personal to people when they came. They had that one-on-one experience, sitting at the table with an individual or a buyer or somebody that, was able to put their project into the next phase or to put their project into the green light position. And that's what happened with the summit.
That's great. It is actually a great an opportunity for people.
Yeah.
Most people don't get that kind of opportunity, and their creation or script will still be at their home without the 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 light for their creations, right? And you did a great job.
Thank you.
Actually, about your book, you got this book to pitch, which I want to show in the camera, to pitch or not to pitch, and give me the green light. Yes. So this book is a Bible kind of a to-go book for anyone who is looking to get their pitch to the industry, right? Yes. What is the difference between these two books?
So the difference between the two books, and I love that question. So the first book, which is my freshman book, To Pitch or Not to Pitch, the foreword was written from Mona Scott Young, who is the American filmmaker of course, the franchise, or the American television goer from the franchise Love and Hip Hop. So she wrote the foreword to the book. And so this book, I didn't realize would come out to be the book that it was. But I knew 10 years prior that I needed to write a book. And I had already started talking to people about it because I was doing plenty of workshops. I was doing plenty of master classes. And I also was teaching, as a professor at a couple of universities. So for me, I knew that it needed to happen on a wider scale versus me just individually touching people and saying, hey, this should happen, or hey, what's your question, or hey, I think you should do this. And again, with the first book, it became a great companion for people who wanted to pitch and how to do that. So it's everything about pitching. It's everything about getting out of your comfort zone and being able to put yourself in the better situation of you seeing yourself in front of that person that you want to talk to. I don't care who it is. It could have, it could be a brother-in-law. It could be, a neighbor. It could be somebody that actually has, a really good influence on you, or a better position for you to have your script in. So again, To Pitch or Not to Pitch became one of those books that would hold your hand and be beside you as, that person who is going to pitch to, the Quentin Tarantino or the Martin Scorsese and, all of those famous persons. It doesn't matter who it is. It would be, a great companion.
It exactly gave me the same feeling, like someone holding my hand and taking me to explore different fields of pitching, selling the script, right?
Yeah.
Actually, how do you get this futuristic vision? Because I know there are so many books out there tell us how to write a screenplay and what are the aesthetics of filmmaking and how a color of a film can be and things like that. But how good it can be, finally it needs to get its marketplace, right?
Yeah.
and hats off to you for writing that. While you're talking about this book, you told that you have worked with few filmmakers, and some people that you have worked with, I know this award-winning movie producer Tressa Zerel, Smallwood, Tracy Edmonds, Robert Townsend, Mark Coops, Mona Scott Young. What is your learning working with these people?
Well, when you're working with people like this, the duration might be short or it might be long term. So you don't know how long you'll have with them based on the project or based on the need. And so you need to suck everything up right then. Like you need to be in total full focus. Like you don't need to deny a call. You don't need to say, hey, can I get back with you a little bit later? You need to make yourself completely available, and you need to be in full mind of understanding what is it that is the need for them, because they need something that you have to offer. So that's why the collaboration is there, and you need to understand what that is and not be a big shot. At this point, when you have people that have been in the business for, many more moons than you have, you need to be learning something from them. Or if it doesn't matter, you could be in the business for the same amount of time. You need to be available and understand the clarity of what's there and what both of you or whomever the parties are trying to accomplish. So working with persons like, Mona Scott Young, I'll say, she definitely reminded me of who I am to this day, of being able to multitask, because in the physical presence of her and I working together, I actually completed the original casting for her for Love and Hip Hop of Atlanta. So having to set up that whole entire casting for her was amazing, and being able to watch and actually have those persons walk through the door who we see on television today, who have become celebrity reality moguls, and setting up, not only the camera for them and the lighting and the microphones, but being able to listen to the conversations and all what was happening. It's like everybody has something going on.
Yeah.
Because life doesn't stop. And I remember even that very first day of the casting, Mona was actually going to a tribute for Heavy D, who had passed away. He was a hip hop legend and an artist, of course, and he passed away. And they were honoring him at the Soul Train Music Awards. And this was, I believe, in 2011, 2010. And being there, and Mona says, "Hey, listen, I gotta go. It's all on you."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, fine. So it's like, I have to, buckle up my bootstraps and take on the lead. And I didn't know she had to leave. She never told me prior to that she would be gone for majority of the casting. But what do you do in a sense of that?
Exactly.
So it's like you get your opportunity to lead when you don't even know you have to lead. And you have to be prepared for it.
That's something. Yeah, with your decades of filmmaking, the experience that you bring in is really insightful. This is the last question of this session. The first session.
Yeah.
How is it being a woman in the film industry? Like, do you have to do extra work as a woman since to achieve something than a man or something? Did you feel anything like that?
Well, I feel like, as women now, our work is never completed. For me, I'm an overachiever and I am always striving. I'm striving for my kids. I'm striving for my sibling. I'm striving for, my parents. I'm striving for, my ancestors. I'm striving for all the things that I really want to stay connected with. And I'm striving for my future and others' futures, right? So it's one of those things that you already feel like you have this pinch in your back because you're working to a point that you want to be better than what you were the day before, no matter what that looked like for you. And then at the same time, you're, in a male dominant, industry. It still is.
Yeah, it is.
Women are still 1%, and then you looking at minority women, no matter if it's the color, the race, the gender, and you're still trying to figure out what, or how are you going to accomplish what you're going to accomplish just through you.
Yeah.
By yourself. Not only do you take and lock arms with others just like you, and are they going to accept and not feel that this has to be a selfish situation? We're all stronger together than we are apart. I don't want to do any project, any conference, anything by myself. I am better when I'm doing it with others because I'm consistently learning, I'm consistently loving, and I'm consistently wanting to carry myself with a great integrity, because you're able to say what you like and what you don't like at that point.
What would be your genre preference?
My genre preference, I love that question, because my genre preference, it's
what's the secret sauce in it?
The secret sauce. The secret sauce is finding passion.
Producer or director? Actually, I have a famous dialogue from an Indian movie. Nooru Dadava. Sonna Madri.